or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we've got some new secret rares to talk about that are coming around in, well, Super Electric Breaker over in Japan, Surging Sparks over here, and we might as well start off with what is going to be a fairly big card. It's Jasmine. Obviously, it's Jasmine. I mean, we knew we were getting a Jasmine full art, but to be fair, pretty much every spawner nowadays does get a full art. So that's not exactly much of a prediction. But of the supporter cards in the set, it really is Jasmine who is likely to be the most popular. The one that everybody gets most excited about. So, you know, it's only fair that we get a little bit excited about this one. People will be happy about it. Now, Jasmine as a supporter is quite popular. And of course, let's not forget that we do have the lovely So-So sleeves and deck box I showed you the other day. I mean, look, they're going to be popular, honestly. And there's probably a good chance I'm going to pick these up when they go on sale next week. And I'm not going to feel sad about that. I'm not going to feel embarrassed. I'm going to hold my head high, order these, and go on with my life. Because you know what? Jasmine is pretty gosh darn cool. Now, with Jasmine, what we've got is during your opponent's next turn, all of your opponent's Pokemon, well, all of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon's attacks. That's how it actually is. And, I mean, look, it's not the most stunning card in the world. I'm not pretending it is playability-wise. But I am saying there are going to be turns where you look across the board and your opponent's Charizard is doing exactly enough damage. Well, now you play this and they're 30 damage, sure. Like, one of the fun things about Charizard does 30 more damage for every prize card you've taken. And one of the things they do now is they play Dusknoir, so during their turn they can use Dusknoir, make you take an extra prize card, do an extra 30 damage, and then go and get the KO that way. What you can do here is you can be like, go on then. You're 30 damage away. I know you're going to use Dusknoir next turn. Oh, but I'm going to play Jasmine, so even if you use Dusknoir, you're still 30 damage away. And that will just honestly be kind of funny. Just being able to screw the maths up here for your opponent is awesome. It is very, very likely that we are going to be getting a Jasmine special illustration rare. It's not yet confirmed. It's one of those things where I would be absolutely stunned if it didn't happen, but it is not yet confirmed, so it's kind of put a pin in it for now, and it's going to be very much like we saw with Lizia's appeal in the previous set in Paradise Dragona. We see the full art and we go, oh, that's really nice, we like this, but then we go and see the special illustration rare and we're like, oh, okay, that is even a step above what we saw from the full art. Although, with Lizia, I then went and pulled the full art from one of my boxes of Paradise Dragona. And I'm just saying, if that happens again for Jasmine here, I'm going to be okay with that. I'm not going to be terribly upset. I would be cool with it. So, you know, if it happens, just putting that out there. But hey, there is another full art we've got here. It is Cyrano, and we've got ourselves, you know, one of the characters from Gen 9 popping up with a lovely full art. I don't expect it to be as popular as Jasmine, but it's kind of an interesting card. Search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX, reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck. Very useful for getting set up, and you get 3 Pokemon EX, which is quite nice. But it's your supporter card for the turn. We can search Pokemon in other ways. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm necessarily thinking this is going to see a huge amount of play. Could absolutely be wrong here. I do see this as, you know, whereas Jasmine I could see as a cheeky one-off to try and throw the maths off. This one, I mean, again, supporters are pretty searchable nowadays. So there is an argument to just kind of play it as a one-off and use it if you need to go and, you know, get the searching going. But I do think that most of the time here, this is probably going to be one that's left in the binder. I don't think it's going to see a huge amount of play, but you never know, ladies and gentlemen. It still could. Either way, we got 2 lovely new full art supporter cards, and given it from my Japanese boxes nowadays, I just tend to pull random full arts. You know what? Maybe this is one I start hoping for. Because I'm going to pull a random full art. Might as well be this one. I wouldn't mind the Jasmine, honestly. Although, she's got so many cool metal Pokemon, why can we not get one of them on the full art? The answer is, it's going to be on the special illustration rare, but still, you know, just putting that one out there. But we also have a lovely new artwork rare to talk about, and it is for a Pokemon that has not yet been talked about. So let's have a talk about Kecleon. And look at the artwork rare here by Moriyu. Oh, it's lovely. It's very busy and very colourful. But Kecleon is very busy and very colourful. So it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, honestly, this makes perfect sense, and I'm kind of down with this. Lovely artwork rare. Not one of my absolute chases for the set, because we've already seen stuff like the Mesprit, for instance, which is clearly, you know, going to be one of my chases for the set. But it's still a very cool one that I think a lot of you are going to absolutely love. But is it any good in terms of playability? And the answer is, this card is going to be super annoying. You are going to hate it at your pre-release, and that's going to be honestly kind of funny. Why are you going to hate it at your pre-release? Because of the ability. It is the ability that is going to make you hate this. Whenever this Pokemon would take damage from an attack, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. Also, do check out the regular art by Shinji Kanda that I know a lot of people absolutely adore. Yeah, that's going to be really annoying. That's going to be annoying. Because I guarantee you, there are going to be people at pre-releases who pull one of these, or maybe multiple of them, because it's probably going to be a common card. Might even be in the pre-release pack, but if it's not, a bunch of people are going to get this from their packs. And they're just going to keep flipping heads. And they are going to flip heads over and over again. They are going to be in a game that by rights they should lose. And what they're actually going to do is just flip heads over and over again until they end up winning the game. And people are going to hate it. But it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely going to happen. It's only got 70 HP. When you flip tails, you're probably done. But you know what? If you flip enough heads, you don't need to worry about that. Pre-releases are going to be ruined by people that flip too many heads on this ability. So, that's a fun little... And honestly, what it might do, even if you don't win the game with this, what it might do is just buy you a couple of turns to evolve up and attach energy and get your main strategy rolling, and then from there, you're good to go. But what about the attack? Does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And actually, that's not the worst attack ever. Now, it is for 2 energy, which is actually super annoying. But don't use double turbo here, because double turbo, even if you're hitting the bench, will reduce the damage down to 10. And by the time you're doing 10 damage, it's like, what's even the point, mate? But I actually kind of like this. Again, I do see this as more of a pre-release card here. But essentially, you know, imagine your opponent's got a Pokemon stuck in the active they can't attack with. You start hitting the bench. They finally get the Pokemon they don't want to attack with out of the active. So they can get a Pokemon they do want to attack with in the active. But then you start flipping heads, and they can't even do any damage. And then, I don't know, maybe you've got some gusting going on as well. So you're constantly bringing Pokemon into the active that can't attack. And maybe this can work in standard. Now, you've got to hope that you start flipping heads. But the theory here is you try and trap a Pokemon in the active that can't attack. They finally get the Pokemon out the active. They finally get an attack off. You flip heads. The attack doesn't do any damage. And then you gust another Pokemon active that can't do much attacking. So then your opponent goes, right, fine. And they go through the whole process again. They use a bunch of resources, get a Pokemon in the active that can attack, and then they flip, well, you flip heads. Their attack, and it's round and round we go. Is it going to work? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't really care. Sometimes this is going to work, and it's going to be amazing and brilliant and wonderful, and it's not always going to work. But when it does, it's going to be the most annoying card in the world. Let's go ahead and give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. There's going to be a bunch of times you just flip tails on this and you've got a 70 HP Pokemon that gets KO'd super easily, all right? But there's going to be times you flip heads. And if you combine that with constantly gusting Pokemon that don't want to be in the active, I'm telling you, you're going to have some fun with this. Your opponent is going to have no fun with this whatsoever. But you're going to have some fun with this. So there we go. Bunch of new secret rares, you've seen them, and now it's over to you guys. Do you think Kecleon seems fun? Which full arts are you after? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. Oh, and get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Kecleon, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.